Hey everyone, it's Chammies, and today I'm going to be answering 11 questions about squirting. Now I made this video just because I didn't actually know I could squirt until last year when I was 24. For the longest time, I didn't think I could squirt. I didn't really know much about it, so I thought I'd share a bunch of what I've learned with all of you here and talk about my experience with squirting. Keep in mind, I am not an expert at all. This is all based off my own personal experience as well as research I have done on Google. Alright, so the first question I want to answer is, what exactly is squirting? Is this pee? Is this like vaginal semen? Is this like just random inner fluids? So I did a lot of Google research on this because I didn't really know what it was and I was curious, you know, I had seen it in some videos, so like, what is squirting exactly? And so when I looked online, this is like the best article I found, though note, this is on Quora, so I don't know about the validity of this, but I was able to look at a couple other articles which had similar things to the same one. So after reading a couple, this is kind of the main pattern that I was seeing across them. So this one says that female ejaculation is from the urethra or pee hole, just as is male ejaculation. There's a bit debate as to whether this is urine or seminal fluid, but it seems like from this article it could be a mix. So they say that sometimes it can be pee because they release urine from the bladder during when they squirt, and sometimes it comes from the Skene's gland, which would be more seminal fluid, and then sometimes like almost nothing comes out. So it could be a mix of any of those. So this was something I was super curious about because I totally thought it was pee. So like I'd always smell it afterward and be like, does it smell like pee? Like sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. So unknown exactly, I'm not 100% confident on what it is, but based on the research, that is what I would say squirting is. And in terms of like what it actually is, like what's happening when you squirt, basically a mixed amount of fluid will come out of your vagina during some pleasurable times when someone stimulates it the right way. Question number 2 is how much comes out. So basically it can range. Sometimes I've had just like literally like a couple of drops come out, like just a little bit, I don't know about drops, but you know, just a little like boop. And then sometimes it's like a journey, like it covers like the bed like this much, like there is like this much covered up on my sheet, and it like soaks the comforter and the sheet and the mattress. So sometimes it's a lot, and also, you know, depends how long they're going. So it's like there is a wide range of normal amounts of squirting coming out. The third question is, can anyone squirt? There's a big debate about this. I was curious because I didn't think I could squirt, so I was going on Google like, can everyone squirt? Is this a thing everyone has? Like, because there are a lot of people that I've talked to who haven't been able to do it, and like I wasn't able to do it, so I'm like, oh, okay, like maybe it's not a thing everyone can do, and that's okay. I was totally fine with that. I was like, whatever, I made peace with that. And I went online and was like, can everyone squirt? And it's kind of hard to study if everyone can squirt because it's like maybe someone just wasn't in the right mindset or something and they just could never do it and have someone to show them, or maybe they just really couldn't do it because their body just didn't do that. So it's hard to know. Nobody really knows exactly if everyone has the ability to squirt. So I'll say it's unknown right now, but I do believe, since I learned that I could do it last year at 24, that maybe it's possible that maybe some people didn't think they could, but they didn't have the right technique. Or based on this whole video, you can already tell after these first couple questions, like there haven't been as many studies obviously on like female ejaculation as male ejaculation. So there's like a lot of studies that are missing, and so it'd be something very interesting to study and see if we can find out if like, does everyone have this ability, or is this like not something everyone can do, it's just some people, like how some people can like do their thumb thing like all the way back and some people cannot. So I don't know if everybody can. But I definitely feel like if you haven't been able to yet, like watching this video and doing some research on it could help, because maybe you just need to get that technique right, or maybe you can't. Who knows? But I would definitely experiment and find out and see. So the fourth question is, when was the first time I squirted? So the first time I officially like squirted is last year. I was with someone and we were doing it, and then he went down, and then after like a while of him getting to know my body and like we getting to know each other, like I think it was like a couple months in, then one day I almost like squirted. Like I felt like I had to pee during, so I was like holding it hardcore. I'm like, no, I was like, I don't want to pee on him. I'm not into pee stuff, so I was like, I would be embarrassed if that happened to me. So I was holding it, and then I told him that. I was like, dude, I don't know what you're doing down there, but I felt like I had to pee. And he was like, girl, you gotta just let it out. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, that means you're about to squirt. I'm like, what? I was like, I haven't done that before. And he's like, no, you can just let it out. And I'm like, what if it's pee? And he's like, it's totally fine, like don't worry. And I'm like, well, what if it's like, I don't know. I was like, are you okay with that? Like, I'm gonna just pee on your face? And he's like, oh yeah, like don't worry, like I've done this before with other people, like it's okay, it'll be some pee, some water, some other stuff. Like it probably isn't like too much pee, like it's usually mostly like liquid other stuff and doesn't smell too much like pee. So he's like, don't worry. And I'm like, okay. So the next time he was down there, like I was like, well, I can feel it, like I have to pee. I'm like, I'ma just let it happen. So I just let it go, and I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, like that's what that is. I personally liked it. Like I thought it felt really good. I was like, wow. And sometimes you could time it to like happen at the same time your clit comes happening, so it's like 2 at once. And I was like, whoa, overpower, oh my gosh. So it was pretty cool. So that was my first time. But then I thought about it and I'm like, wait, I think I squirted one time before this by myself. When I was just like doing myself on my bed real quick. I was using my toy, and then like a tiny bit of stuff came out, and it was like liquid, a little very tiny spot like on my bed, and I was like, what the hell? And I like smelled it, and I'm like, oh my god, I just peed my bed. Like I smelled a tiny bit like pee. So then from that moment on, I was like, well, I never want to do that again. I was like, I don't know what that was. I thought I just accidentally peed during or something. I didn't know it was possible. So I'm like, okay, that's no. So then I just kind of held it in. That's why I held it in when I was with the guy, and then he was like, just let it flow. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let it go. So on that note, the next question I want to answer is, when I was with this person, basically what they would do is, you know, we do our thing, foreplay, fun times, do the thing, and then they go in and they were explaining to me, as I was like, hey, how do I do this? So that's one tip. Ask your partner, like, yo, how did you do that? So you can learn. He said he would do a lot of licking, doing oral down there on the clitoral stimulation, and then eventually at some point he'd slide his fingers in, and he said you just kind of like press it up against different walls. There's probably a specific wall he does. I'm not exactly sure, because when it's happening, I'm just kind of like, woo! So he has his fingers on the wall, and he says he puts a little bit of pressure, not a lot, just a little bit, and then like switches it like on and off, and then eventually he'll like start to feel it like get tighter and tighter as it's like kind of building, and then eventually it'll just woo, but he'll definitely keep going with the clitoral stimulation, like sometimes off, sometimes on. So like the actual technique of the fingers is pretty important. But then I think once you get more comfortable doing it, like, because after I had done it like a lot of times now, there was one time where, this is where obviously with any type of sexual activity, like the mood is very important. Like I was super turned on, like there was a lot of foreplay, and I'm like, okay, this is, oh my, like when he went down, I was already like, you know, that moment like I'm about to finish right before he even like touches me like with his tongue. So he basically like just used his tongue, and then I was able to squirt a little bit from that, like just from the tongue. So I'm like, okay, I guess you don't need the finger, but I think that's once you build up like the muscle of figuring out how do I squirt, like this is what happens. And then I think the finger definitely helps though, like in general. I've seen on some websites and also just, I think it almost happened once for me but never did, but like where you can actually squirt from penile penetration. So they can put their penis in, they'll be having sex, and then you'll just start squirting from that, which makes sense because some people are turned on by different things. So I'm really turned on by like oral, so like, oh, okay, that makes sense, I would be able to do it from that. But then from penile, maybe some people like that better and that causes them to squirt, or maybe the penis just hits the right wall, so you could also squirt from that as well. So lots of different ways you can. So the next question I want to answer is, what does squirting feel like? It feels like you have to pee, but it also feels like a clitoral orgasm, like you start to contract and then your thighs all ooh, and then it's like all magical. I'll say it's like a mix of that, but also feel like you have to pee, because almost like pee, but it's a little different because you're like orgasming at the same time. But I will say, like I said, like at the beginning when I thought I had to pee during sex, like, you know, I was holding it, so you can like hold it, like you can try to force it in, like like not today, kind of like how you hold pee, you can hold it and it's coming out of the same hole. It's like, you know, it's like that same feeling. This liquid is coming out, and like if it's a lot, like sometimes like it's just a liquid just, and it's weird because like, you know, normally you don't pee that much usually, I don't think. So it's just like, wow, this is like a freaking waterfall. It's like all coming out, and then it's weird because sometimes you kind of feel the water like drip down, like because you're laying down, usually it kind of drips down to like your butt, and you're like, oh, it's an interesting feeling. I don't know about that. It's like, oh, okay. So that is what it feels like. That's like my best description of it, like orgasming while peeing. The next question I want to talk about is, how many times can you squirt in a session? So I don't know what the maximum amount is, and everyone's totally different. Like some people I bet can go once, some people go like 20 times. I don't know about 20, but you never know. You can go a certain amount of time. But for me, at least in my experience, I think the most I've gone in like a session is like, it also depends how long the session is, but for me in a session, I can usually, I've done it like 3 or 4 times, I think. Like they'll do it, they go, I'll squirt, and then maybe they'll just continue going, and then I'll just squirt again right after that. And sometimes it's more longer, like I'll squirt and then they'll leave, and then they'll come back and do it again. I'll leave the room, but like they'll go do something else, and then they'll go back down there, and then I will squirt again in the same session. So it can happen 2 or 3 times in a session, I'd say. But I will say, like after like the 3rd time, usually I'm pretty tired, like I'm pretty pooped. So sometimes it is normal to feel like really exhausted afterward, like and tired after you just let it all out, because it's like a lot happening with your body and your mind. You're like, whoa, like everything's stimulation, intense stimulation. So it's like, no, I gotta like slow it down a bit. That recovery time is important. Another question is, how long does it last? Like, how long are you squirting for? Like, is this like 10 minutes? For me, no. I don't even know if there's someone who squirt for 10 minutes. That's a lot of liquid. For me, I'd say it lasts, like, obviously range is kind of like with the how much question. I'll say it could be like anywhere between maybe 3 seconds, just like a quick boop, or it could be up to 10 seconds, maybe 10, 15 if they keep going, so it's just like a long stream of woo, depending how much the buildup was or how long it's been since we've had sex. Like, you know, all that stuff can account for how long this event is happening. And then another question that you might have is, what does it taste like? So I know what it tastes like because, you know, sometimes my partner would be down there, boom, 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 and they would get it, they'd eat it, they'd have it, then they'd make out with me, and I'd be like, oh, like, this is what I taste like. Interesting. It's usually not bad. It's usually not my favorite. Like, it's not like candy. Like, it's kind of like how I feel about the semen. Like, okay, it's not delicious like candy usually, but it's not like disgusting. Like, ugh, it's kind of like, oh, there it is. Texture obviously is kind of like liquidy. Why am I imagining I'm doing it? That doesn't even make sense. I would say imagine like the taste of like another tongue. Do tongues even taste different? In my opinion, they don't usually, but imagine like the taste of a tongue, spit, but with like a more tangy. Tangy's not the right word though. It's not tangy. Like, it's not sour either. It depends probably on what I ate or drank that week. I'm sorry. I don't know, man. This is my best answer. I don't know. You're just gonna have to find out. Like, you're just gonna have to try it yourself and see. And then you might be wondering like, okay, so what if I want to try this by myself? Like, how do I freaking do this? I'd watch a bunch of videos on it. I would definitely make sure you set the mood for your setting for yourself. So you want to be like in the zone, feeling it, in the mood. Get in the zone, wear your favorite thing, lighting. And then you start to do it kind of like with any type of other exploration. See what other people have done to figure out like, okay, like, so they're doing this motion with their finger, they're doing this one for this long. And you just kind of have to experiment like with a lot of stuff with your body and this whole thing in general, like of masturbation. You just kind of have to like feel around, touch around, see what feels good, what doesn't really feel good. There are definitely some techniques, like I said, putting your finger in and figuring out, okay, this feels good, this doesn't feel good. And I would say just keep in mind that when you feel like you have to pee, it's probably not pee. It's actually like, I mean, unless it's squirt pee, but like I never just pee during, I don't know if it's possible. So around, practice, you know, see what you can do down there. Don't be discouraged if you cannot do it. It can be a little tricky. Like, some people might get it like this, but maybe their clitoral cream will come later. Some people will not get it ever. That's totally fine. Like, who knows? We don't really know if everyone can do it or not, but if you can, like, that's totally fine. Like, luckily there's other ways to come. Even if you don't come, that's totally fine too. So then one more question I want to talk about is, what if you want to do it with your partner, but your partner doesn't know how to do it yet, and maybe you're a little embarrassed to ask about it? Because I know, like, especially my peeve with the world is that like a lot of people don't talk about sex or how to have conversations. For me, for the longest time, I didn't know I could ask my partner like, hey, can we do this? Can I show you how to do this on me? Because I thought it would make them feel bad, like, oh, if I tell them this, they're gonna think they're bad at it. So I would say just having an open conversation with them and being honest and kind. Like, obviously don't be like, wow, you suck at this, can you work on this? Like, I'll go to them and say, hey, like, I love what we've been doing, it's super fun, and I would love if we tried this new thing I just learned about, like squirting. And like, do you think maybe we could watch some videos together? If you're comfortable, you could also say, oh, we could both like do some videos, do some notes, like make it fun. Like, hey, we're about to try this new thing together, this exciting adventure to see if I can squirt or not. So I think just talking to them like that, like, hey, tonight let's set a date on December 30th, we're gonna practice doing it. You can get all in the mood, get in the zone, make a whole thing out of it, and then do like a little training, maybe even a role play, like student teacher, whatever. Anyway, that's just me. But yeah, you can like talk to your partner on the real and just ask them and say, hey, I'm really interested in trying this new thing, like, do you want to try it with me? And then you both can ask some questions like, oh, would you be cool if I squirted on you? Or like, do you want me to warn you so maybe you can get out of the way? Like, whatever they feel, whatever you both come to decide, like, that's cool. Just make sure all the parties, you know, agree or in agreement of what is happening. And then yeah, I would say just watch videos, look at articles, maybe talk to people who've done it, and then both come together and you can try it out. Because I think it's just really fun to try new things with your partner and see if you want to explore something, like, let them know. And maybe if they want to explore something and try something, you can do that too. Also let them know, like, hey, I don't know for sure if everyone can even do this, so if we don't figure it out, that's okay, maybe it'll come later. I just say that because I can definitely see where like partner or you like might feel bad because you're like, oh no, I wasn't able to do it, that means I fail as like a sex partner or something, and either one might think that. So just make sure you get that on the table and in both your minds that no one is a failure here. There is no like success, not success. It's just like, hey, we're just trying a thing to see what happens, see if we like it, see if we get there, see what we can do, and if not, we had a fun time learning. So really no loss here. So I would definitely bring it up with them because I would say it is really fun involving your partner and stuff like that. Or maybe you will do it by yourself and then you can teach them. So lots of options. As a quick tip, do put a towel down because you don't know if it's gonna be a little or a lot. So once you figure it out, like, or maybe just if you're practicing, you don't know how much is gonna come out, just put a towel down just to help soak up all that liquid that's gonna come out. That would be my one big tip for this. Kind of like if you're doing period sex, you wanna just, you know, make it the easiest cleanup as possible. I will say my last thoughts is just that even if you haven't done it, like, you're not too old to learn, which is what I totally thought. Like, oh, there's no way, I didn't do it. I'm 24 years, I didn't learn it. I guess I can't do it. But lo and behold, I did it last year. So you're not too old to like try new things in the bedroom. Experiment with yourself, with partners, like with whoever. So that marks the end of this video. I hope this has been helpful, hearing like my experience with squirting and kind of everything that I mostly know about it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below if you have another topic or idea that you want to hear about, or maybe you have ideas on squirting that I didn't mention, or if you have any questions I didn't answer, feel free to drop a comment. And also remember to please subscribe to see more videos like this and ring the bell to get notifications for when the next video comes out. As always, thanks so much for watching and I'll see you next week. Bye!